Hey folks, I'm Rupali, your host, and welcome back to Crime Hack. So far, we have seen that Aakash was beaten up after Valentine's for supposedly proposing to Priya. When Raj and Sandy take up the investigation, they are ambushed too. When Priya decides to help with the investigation, she is abducted to lure Sandy into a trap. As soon as Sandy is trapped, Priya is released. However, Sandy manages to escape and follows the suspect Tushar to the Katraj lake and into the catacombish tunnels. Also, when the boys were out night riding, they spot two men installing security cameras in the heart of the city. While brainstorming about why Tushar had gone into the tunnels, the boys find an explanation to their first attacker's discussion, where Sandy had overheard them saying, "We need to hurry up on the holes to get to our sweet reward." Suddenly, the catacombish tunnels gain importance. The boys find out that it was an ancient water supply system with 125 outlets, but they don't find anything that could tell them what the sweet reward could be. The boys split up the work of investigating all these leads and borrow Vishal's bike to set out their different ways. Raj finds out that the people mounting cameras in the city had lied, and so they must be involved in some criminal activity. He also finds out that when Priya was kidnapped, she was probably kept near the creepy old mansion in her locality, the same place where Sandy was attacked and kept. However, he needs to confirm a few things before he could be sure. So he goes to Priya's house. And now, Nayak Brothers and the Mystery of the Catacombish Tunnels by Rupali Rajapadhyay Roti, Part 35. "Leave my daughter alone!" Mr. Mahajan almost screamed, visibly shaking in rage. "Sure, if you say so," Raj said without losing a beat, and Mr. Mahajan was bowled over. By then, Priya and her mother rushed out to see what was up. Raj continued with equal confidence. "As it is, I'm not investigating her disappearance." "Then why did you come to our house yesterday?" "It was my brother, sir," Raj replied. "We are investigating another case, but when your daughter got kidnapped, we wanted to find out if her disappearance was related to our case." "What investigation are you talking about?" Mr. Mahajan snapped irritably. "Are you the police?" "No, sir. We take on private cases." "What case?" "I can't reveal the details of it, sir. I'm sorry." "Ah, great. So police officials' sons are stalking and harassing my kid now." "The world isn't out to get you, uncle," Raj responded in a calm voice. "Look around. See those kids outside the door? They are part of the same world, and they are with you. So am I. My brother and I are not stalking Priya. We are her friends. And believe it or not, we were as worried about her as anyone else here." Raj met his eyes with a non-flickering gaze. "I'm here because your daughter was abducted and nobody knows why. I'm here to find the people who did it." "Then why are you instead of the police doing that?" "Who said the police aren't investigating?" Raj asked a counter question and Mr. Mahajan became speechless. "And couldn't we try?" Raj asked again. "Tell me something. Given the chance, wouldn't you want to know why? Why it all happened? Why she was taken in and then later released? I mean, it's good she was released, but why was she taken in the first place?" Everybody became silent at this point. Then Mr. Mahajan spoke apologetically. "I am sorry." He held a hand to his head and sat down. "From the time my daughter was kidnapped, it's been a horrific time for all of us. And I guess I'm just angry. Angry at my fate, at everybody." Raj thought of it. The girl was out of the house for a whole night and half a day. There must be a lot of gossip going on around, and it must have been a living nightmare for this family. Raj walked up to Mr. Mahajan's side. Putting a hand on his shoulder, he said soothingly, Don't worry, uncle. Everything will be alright. Just give it some time. And I'm sure things will turn out fine. Priya's father looked up and asked expectantly, You think so? I know so, uncle. We all are there for you. Don't you forget that. And Priya's father mustered a smile. Now, if I could talk to Priya, please. Raj had a business to finish and Mr. Mahajan nodded his consent. Turning to Priya, Raj asked, May I see the shoes you were wearing that night? Priya was surprised. Why, yes. See these flower petal fur sandals here? She picked up a pair for Raj to look at. Taking one sandal from her hand, he went outside and pressed the sandal against the dirt on the ground. The footmark on the ground looked similar to the third print in that small old house, but he had to be sure. He was still carrying the twig for measurement and it matched perfectly. Smiling satisfactorily to himself, he got up and went back inside. What was that all about? Priya asked. Nothing, just a hunch. He brushed the question aside and then glanced at his watch. God, I'm dead. Curfew so soon? Priya was intrigued. No, a friend's waiting. Raj took their leave and Priya came to see him off. The kids of the neighborhood were still waiting outside and Raj snaked his way through them. On a sudden thought, he asked the gathering, By the way, your friend Tushar get a job yet? He was met with hushed talks and heads turning all around. He's gone. The same small kid who had spoken to him earlier spoke up again. The police had come looking for him today. But he's gone. Raj was taken aback with this news. Is he really? Where could Tushar have vanished off to now? He thought, mesmerized. Priya added, His aunt and uncle are in shock and are unsure whether to tell his parents the news. It seems his father's real sick and is in the hospital. That was the real reason why Tushar had come to Pune to look for a job in the first place. With the disturbing news, Raj waved goodbye, mounted his bike, and rushed off to college. Reaching there, he trotted up to Vishal. Sorry. I'm so sorry I'm late. Hey, that's no problem. Is there anything else my friend wants? Vishal asked sarcastically. Thought you would never ask. Raj replied with a mischievous smile. I'll take a pizza. Don't forget the extra cheese. And a trip to Eiffel Tower. Make it a round trip, will ya? He winked. You rascal! Vishal gave a fleeting smack on his buttocks and it hurt like hell. Ow! People first ask you what you want and then hit you for being honest. Raj complained with fake annoyance. Vishal now literally jumped on Raj in a friendly fight while Raj laughed out loud and surrendered. Okay. Could you at least give me a lift till the corporation? Hop on, you shameless. You. Earlier in the evening, Sandy had left Raj at the college parking lot and headed straight to a shopping mall. He needed a pocket flashlight and a Swiss Army knife. It was still 4 hours before the rendezvous with Raj at the corporation and he was looking forward to at least 2 hours of daylight. Not that it mattered, the underground tunnels were as dark as they could get, even in broad daylight. Sandy felt a nervous anticipation, so much so that he didn't even notice the rush in his stride. Would he find the sweet reward today? He trembled with excitement at the mere thought of it. Reaching the bylane behind the fencing wall of the Katraj Zoo, Sandy hid his bike in the shrubbery so nobody could spot it. He then looked about to ensure that nobody was watching him and covered the distance to the wall in a jiffy. Reaching there, he stopped to listen for any signs of movement on the other side and then vaulted over gracefully. But just as he landed, 2 men jumped him from above and he almost screamed with surprise. The men had probably waited in ambush high up on the branches somewhere. The attackers had landed squarely on his back. One was now perched on top of him, while the other had toppled to the side. Turning his neck in all directions, Sandy tried to see the men, but they scurried out of sight. Suddenly, a black handkerchief slid under his face. No! Sandy bobbed his head to dodge the blindfold. I'm not going blind again. At the same time, he raised his feet from behind and kicked the man riding him in his back. The man tipped forward, and Sandy grabbed the man's shirt over his shoulders and pulled him with all his strength. The man toppled in front of him, and Sandy sprang up to his feet. The man was quick as well. He did a somersault on the ground and stood up gracefully. But as soon as their eyes met, the man panicked and threw a punch at Sandy. Sandy ducked and landed a punch in the pit of the man's stomach, sending him reeling backwards. Sensing some movement behind him, Sandy whirled about with his right foot raised to a man's height, conjuring a strong kick. His foot made contact with a man's jaw, and the man dropped unconscious with his face down. But suddenly, 4 men jumped over the wall after Sandy and threw chili powder at his face. Not again! Sandy barely managed to close his eyes in time and staggered backwards, only to bump into the first assailant. There was no time to lose, and he ran for it, away from them all, shaking and wiping his face to be ready to fight. He hadn't gone far though, when he bumped into a tree and whirled around to face his attackers. But it was too late already. Punches landed on his jaw and stomach, and he was down with a hard kick at his chest even before he could open his eyes. He rebounded off a tree and fell to the ground with a grunt, unconscious. So friends, if you like this story so far, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to hear the complete story. We also publish content on real-life crime, business, psychology, humor, etc. Our main purpose is to help you save yourself from crime and to present you with options so you don't have to turn to crime in desperate situations. Love and respect yourself, love and respect all. Until next time, keep safe. Namaste.